Hey, this is Max Alper, aka Parrotsky, and you are listening to Group Critique Fight Club. What you guys even know? What do you guys even know about 2000s post-rock? Y'all don't know nothing. The Sea Like Lead. This is the deepest Philly cut. MySpace days MP3s. The Sea Like Lead. If you, anyone in Philly in their 30s or older who was into post-rock in the 2000s, please find those guys. Let me know I love them. That's from 2005. That's a 20-year-old record. Oh, man. Shout out to the Sea Like Lead, and shout out to you. Welcome to another edition of Group Critique Fight Club Public Night School edition. You're probably noticing this little fucking, it's actually kind of big. I'll make it a little smaller. This nice little GIF in the right-hand corner of your screen. We got a sponsor, y'all. We're going legit. We've sold the fuck out. No, not really. Transparently, receiving some additional support from our good friends at Tape Trade, those who don't know, I've been harping on them for no pay on Instagram for months now. My friend Matthew and a small team of developers have created this pretty interesting protocol, let's say, browser player software, primarily geared for musicians that need to send each other lossless WAV files in a really sleek web player. It's a wonderful playlisting, file sharing app, and website, web service. You can upload audio directly from your phone. You can do it directly on the desktop. They basically take all audio formats. And genuinely, they're all musicians, very small team, and they're not going to scrape your fucking data. Like, I know the bar is fucking low, but Google Drive sucks. WeTransfer is actively trying to backtrack their already probably implemented data scraping program. I think that we owe it to ourselves to utilize products that have our interests in mind. And unfortunately, software as a service, on the freeware side, if the product is free, then you are the product, you know? So I think that it's I think it's just one of those things that you just got to understand, that a small little investment in yourself to have a wonderful tool to utilize in your own work, both for the sake of sharing private playlists with friends, but also easily sharing stems. I know plenty of people that use Tape Trade in the professional studio side of things, and it's oftentimes needing to send quick turnarounds, easy to play files in browser for people that have no idea what they're doing with audio. This is a great tool for that. And so that being said, we will be playing from here on out all of our audio powered by Tape Trade. So yeah, tapetrade.io. Definitely sign up. I don't have a read here. It's an ad read, but I'm not reading here. I'm just telling you guys honestly, being upfront. They're supporting us a little bit, and I genuinely use it. And I recommend y'all stop using Google Drive to be sending each other files. At least musical. All right, let's get on to it today. Before we start, actually, wanted to just read a little bit from our. Every time I go and play shows, I was just in Richmond on a really nice panel talking about talking about AI and nefariousness in music. We had a few yay sayers on the panel and a few naysayers on the panel. Myself being a nuanced naysayer. But while I was out there, I also played a really nice show at this DIY venue in Richmond called The Material Room. Beautiful spot. People came out, really lovely people. And every time I play in shows outside of my own city, small ones, I ended up going back to Brooklyn after that and playing a house show yesterday, which was fantastic with Maurice doing a nice little duo together. And every time I'm leaving my area to go do this, I just get so inspired seeing how hungry people are, and not old millennials in their 30s like me. I'm talking the fucking college aged kids that were just stoked that shit was happening. I was the only out of towner on this bill. Everybody else was local, everybody else was young. And it's just, every time I see DIY in smaller scenes, it just is so reinvigorating. So I just wrote some words that, you probably saw me post today on social media relating to how music is social, so we have to be social. I wrote, I hate that our phones have convinced the most impressionable among us that a world outside of like 3 social media platforms isn't possible anymore. This is a good anecdote that keeps happening to me on TikTok. I keep seeing TikTok videos of math rock bands because it knows that I like hella, I guess. It keeps recommending me various VHS footage of bands like Hella in the late 90s and mid 2000s. I keep seeing TikTok videos of math rock bands playing house shows in like 2006, and all the comments are kids saying, I wish I lived in this time when you could actually do this. And my brother in Christ, you absolutely can still do this, but it requires you to find your people and to get comfortable playing for very few of them at a time to start. I think that's really important here, is to get used to smallness at the beginning. You do not need to move to a major city to start playing shows and meeting peers. All scenes start small, and they historically have all required affordable real estate to do so. And I mention that only because going to the major cities, not necessarily the most affordable places. You might be told that there are more opportunity at XYZ, but honestly, with the internet as a starting off point, you'd be surprised how if you build it, they will come. Like I saw someone write today, the best scenes right now are Denton, Texas, Omaha, Nebraska, and Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And it's just like, these are places I would love to go to. This is what it's all about. It's not about these big fucking cities. You make your own fun. I wrote, you and your 3 friends are a scene, and I guarantee that if you organize, there will be others that will seek you out as leaders. The idea that a small show in a small town is somehow musically lesser than a big room in a big city is a psyop sold to you by tech platforms. And I mean tech platforms that want you to feel discouraged for not being a part of whatever big thing is happening in a big city, and for you to, well, I guess I'm not living there anytime soon, so I might as well just stay glued to the phone here and feel discouraged and feel like it's not possible to do these things. And that's bullshit. It is fucking possible. Music is social. There are freaks everywhere for those with eyes to see. So please find your freaks. You should check out services like Freak Scene, actually, is the name of one of them. It's like a great website that just has like a nice little setup by geography that shows various venues and various folks playing shows. Trying to think of a few of these other ones, these DIY sort of indexes. Sound off in the chat if you've heard of anything on your end. I'm trying to find. Damn, someone posted another one besides Freak Scene that I hadn't heard of, but DoDIY.org. Go on DoDIY.org and you will find your state if you live in the States, and you, or I think internationally too. And someone wrote, start a DIY venue, a collective, or series in a small town. Put your contact info on DoDIY.org and watch the touring weirdo musicians swarm in. And this was posted by someone who genuinely is hella awesome, who I play with. So, yo, there are freaks everywhere for those with eyes to see. Go find them. Let's listen to some fucking music, shall we? We got the tape trade up. The polls are closed for this evening, folks. We have 6 tracks we got to get to, and they are varying in length. Starting with, we got Spalton. We got Spalton in the Discord who wrote, I call my stuff Fendustrial folklore inspired industrial. Whew, that's a mouthful. Fendustrial folklore. There's a few there. Send us 2 tracks today. We're gonna listen to the first one you sent, and we'll listen to the second one next time. This first one you sent is called Aftermath, and it's a droney one. So let's check it out. This one's from Spalton. Yeah. Give it up for Spalton. Yo. Oh man. Fendustrial? What does that mean? um I get the folklore reference that you're saying here. Because it has obviously an air of like elements that Sun sort of has on some of their quieter, almost sort of bleaker, like the Oracle EP by Sun. It looks like someone even talked about that. Yeah, voice over this. Well, Scott Walker, the Scott Walker Sun split for sure, but they're the Sun proper EP called Oracle, with Attila Chihar, one of the vocalists of Mayhem. Um, it's some of their quieter stuff that has just this dark and clearly sustained and droned, but never reaching the climactic distorted element, remaining sort of subdued in low end texture that is heavily saturated but never the full like that, specifically the opening track of this Oracle EP. And then they have Attila Chihar's basically I believed he recorded it inside of a coffin, for full dramatic effect. For the album art is a coffin, um, doing this sort of backwards, freely improvised atonal whispers, I guess. And then the kicker of this track that I'm specifically thinking of off the Oracle EP has a, rather than a noise machine, they have a literal jackhammer that they record. And so there's just at various times, there's just that just occurs, and it just becomes this obviously very violent sort of moment here. And you tease a little bit with your choice of noise here, at a little bit of violence. And I would just love to lay into that a bit more. There is some various sort of like pulsing sort of harsh percussive elements that inch forward a little bit, but never fully establish themselves. And I would just love more of that, and across the board, some of the cleanliness can be dirtied up. Like there's a lot of, yes, exactly. Burnt offering, intentional clipping would go very hard. Exactly. Saturation is what you're talking about. We should saturate this. We should treat some of these clean, low end, bassy sort of molasses warmth there, and use saturation, use excitation and exciter. Y'all know the effect, the exciter, it literally just excites the harmonic series. It excites the harmonics of an input. So if it's one of my favorite things to do on sine waves, because it's not technically making a filtered square wave. You're basically just distorting the partials, the very the harmonic series of a sine wave, basically. And then you end up with these crunchier highs, but still warm lows. And it sounds kind of like you're opening up a filter, but not quite. It's irregular. It's really strange. And it sounds amazing on bass, low end synthesizer and sine wave heavy, triangle wave heavy stuff. I would love to hear some intentional saturation, some soft clipper, things like that. Dirty it up, I would rather get more dangerous than submerge further into a more strictly dark ambient sort of world here. And then reading some of the chat here, Breathplay says, Spalton, I dare you to sing. This is a stage waiting to be taken. And that, again, brings me to both the Oracle EP and the Scott Walker Sun split or collab EP, which, Scott Walker is a league of his own, as far as vocal delivery goes. And that album in particular is so strangely unique, in this, doom industrial avant-garde vocal songs, art song sort of way. And you're right, Breathplay. This is a stage waiting to be taken. There are plenty of things one could do as a lead instrument, using this as a foundation of sorts, vocals or otherwise. But yeah, that's a good dare. That's a good dare. That's a good thought. Spalton, I don't know if you're here today, but I want to hear the lore, the inspiration in your ears for this project, and where you want it to go. Does it have a public facing, do you have anything released out yet? Do you play shows with this? Is this something that you imagine live? Because that brings me to a whole other set of ideas as far as presentation, instrumental or otherwise, in a staged environment. But as recordings, man, it's a fantastic intro to your work, and would love to dirty it up a bit, filthy it up. Let's get more dangerous. Send it through a tin can, throw that tin can in the ocean, and then print that, make it more grim, more frostbitten, good shit. Thank you, Spalton. All right, we're continuing on. Who we got? Oh, we got more. We got another anonymous submission from our anonymous MC producer, Anon. Another recording done through my deck. Okay, so recording live while spinning it. This one was also co-produced with a friend of mine. Any critique accepted. Requesting another vibe check. Oh, man. I don't even know what that means, bro. It's also worth noting that this one is slated for release, so it is less of a work in progress. All right, so we got a live, straight off the cuff and to the presses. In any case, would love to hear any suggestions for things to listen to, because the suggestions you've given so far, especially PTP, Purple Tape Pedigree label, check them out. PTP Tapes has been phenomenal. Well, thank you very much, Anonymous. Highly recommend y'all check out PTP. But yeah, I'm going to assume we got some more experimental hip-hop on our way. Let's fucking get it. Rue.wave.
I only turn the mic on to break the silence. I only turn the mic on to break the silence. I only turn the mic on to break the silence. I never check the dash to keep the mileage. Every time I look, I only record the speed. Wonder how fast I can go without crashing out on the beat. Yep. I'm addicted to the thrill, but I've been denying that my body parts were cut, pieced up, and flying. Scatterbrain was an understatement of mine, cause I forgot I even had a body half the time. Yeah.
Toolkit was too slick, I was too quick to flip a hit and miss, you probably missed it. Y'all can barely peep the sneak diss, and when I speak between the lines I draw blood from every weakness. I'm more thirsty than a damn mosquito, just being real though, I rubberneck to all the gold pieces. And everything that glitters isn't gold, but I still be sticking my fingers in mud just to sift out the sweetness. And I eat it all up, cause I never rue a day between us. And I write another page to accurately portray an image of myself that speaks reason. I'm out of topic, but in season, and I still got the checks I developed when we combine the pieces. Capture it on a page, the words that I have to say, and hopefully there's a day you can see this.
I only turn the mic on to break the silence. I only turn the mic. I only turn the mic. Cause the quiet was driving me into a violent rage. I could hear every single voice in my head way too clear, and I couldn't plug the source from where it came. No, addicted to the work of playing games. My obsession with building myself was taking my life away. I barely had the energy to contemplate, so I make plans in my sleep and execute during the day.
I burn my sanity like a candle when I take into account all the puzzles I can't dismantle. Make a note so tomorrow I can reassess. Too many mornings spent cleaning up that mess, And too many years stressed about the check. Soon as I got them I forget that I even had to collect. The money was way too easy to perfect, but I'm still blind from cranking up the vault that was stored inside the chest. I don't often feel regret, but I wish I could keep a focused head. Cause the work in front of me had me burning out and upset, but I still push the limits of the flesh. It's worth it, I guess, cause all the crazy players I made and all the major players of the game pressed. And it's a testament to times that I thought I had lost myself, but I always found my
Fucking hell. Once again, anonymous. If you're gonna release this, then you're losing your anonymity here. Oh my goodness. So that's what you meant, but straight off the deck. You had this produced and recorded in studio, and then this print that we're hearing is a live spin and a live chopping and screwing that is occurring. As to put it academically, it's a live chop and screw occurring on the CDJ controller. No, this is fucking fantastic, and it brings the liveness to it. There's imperfections in your your little choices of when to drop effects. It just adds this homemade, like straight to tape quality to it that is just so genuine, but also feels like directly in line with just like it is a cipher in and of itself. Like this is a live spin. This is a performance that we're hearing, semi-improvised, your choice of when to chop and screw, to do the switch up and speed it up all of a sudden, like choices like that I feel sounded inherently just this, human way of doing things. It's in theory, why would we just suddenly change the tempo and go Alvin and the Chipmunks for one verse and then bring it down and then bring it even further down? Glacial. Speaking of listening to sounds in a vat of molasses, like going completely on the scissor at the end, works fantastic. But I think that the most charming part about it is the liveness to it. And I think that this should be inherent in the project. Like it is almost a cipher oriented electronic performance project where you were doing live processing. It's tape music, this is live turntablism, like at its truest. And again, like this is the type of thing you should absolutely be sharing with the PTP folks. Shout outs once again to Genghis, King Vision Ultra, Centennial Gardens. Highly recommend King Vision Ultra. Specifically, the founder of the labels, semi live power electronics noise / chopped and screwed boom bap project. Okay, sick. So you're here. Welcome. This track is 1 of 5 on the tape. This is the second in the series of live tapes off the deck. Fantastic. Great. That's all that I wanted to know, is like the cohesion has to be in the semi-improvised cipher nature of what this recording is. Like it is a moment in time that I think if we were to hear the clean, just straight studio version of it, that we would remove some of that energy that I think is what goes to this. Any specific? No, I would say just start at the beginning with King Vision Ultra. Highly recommend for everybody here. Yeah, I couldn't necessarily name drop one. I've just seen him live, and it's sick because got like a SP404 playing these just like sludged out, deeply down tuned and pitched down boom bap. Like it's just like funk swing, like DJ Premier on fucking just in a vat of fucking codeine, and then screaming on top of that. Not just rapping, screaming, like full just power electronics, just harsh noise sort of delivery here. It's so fucking good. I am here for the experimentation and avant improvisational practices, because they're so in it's people want to separate it from hip hop and a lot of these practices for obviously racialized reasons, because like avant-garde, all this shit. It goes back all the way to free jazz versus John Cage. I am wearing the shirt, but he did try to distinguish himself from a lot of black avant-garde in the 60s, because his work is, of the Academy, and it couldn't possibly be just improvised music. We can't just, dumb it down to this cipher term. And I think that it's not dumbing it down at all. Another artist to check out, anonymous, Anti-Pop Consortium. I don't know if I told you about them, but they are like OGs of this hardware cipher, like hardware electronics and rapping quartet. Oftentimes just entirely improvised cipher of hardware, electronics, improvised electronics, and then live vocals on top of that. Anti-Pop Consortium. And H Prism is one of the solo artists off of from that quartet that does quite a bit himself. I believe he teaches at Drexel or Temple in Philly. Anti-Pop Consortium, another fucking good one. I love my avant hip hop. Oh, fucking Dalek, Dalek, Blackie, all caps, no space, all caps with spaces. Blackie, more on the harsh noise side, but like, I would argue was the inspiration for all of the Death Grip sound, and even like Kanye's Yeezus record. Like Blackie came first, late 2000s DIY Houston noise and hip hop intersections. One of my favorites. Yes, Blackie, man, of course, and that's how you spell it too. All caps with spaces. That's right. Fucking A. Yo, I hope that's some good inspo for you. I love you taking these deep dives into some of the more experimental sides of hip hop. It's a wild world out there. It's a wild world out there. Why keep it safe? Why not build bridges that most might not expect? That's right. Shout out to Denton and Houston. You are from Texas. Fantastic. Yo, as a Yank, as a Northeasterner, I only know from afar the cultural richness that comes in these little pockets. And I very much hope to visit the small scenes of that massive state someday, because it really is. Y'all do not get enough credit on the smaller sides of things. And fucking what, Austin? Look at that shit now. Bullshit. Houston's always been where it's at musically. Go to the swamp. Thank you, Anon, for another fantastic live mix from you. All right, we going. We moving and grooving. We got another one from candidate Kev. Hell yeah. Kev, I saw a Dungeon Synth tribute to The Cure and was released last year, and wanted to try the same for Joy Division. This is a cover of Candidate off of Unknown Pleasures. There you are, Kevy. Burnt Offering. Sorry, I doxed you. Burnt Offering, Candidate, Oathbreaker. We're open to covers here too, especially when we break out of the original genres here. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. This one getting some stank face out of me. This one's we need to get a stankometer going on here. The simplicity of it all is just like making me just like feel the pocket. I feel like we could get a little more developed in the drums, beyond just the strictly programmatic, or formulaic, fill every 4 bars, even just a few occasional like fat snares in there. It's just like, because this is more dark, like down tempo dark wave than dungeon synth. It still feels nice and wavy to me. It feels, I mean, I know when you wrote, and I forgot to mention your note here on the Discord, just usually send this to tape, but this one's strictly from in the box on the phone too. Also impressive. Love me some phone demos. I would say the next step would be, if you're trying to go for a dungeon synth aura beyond the cleaner down tempo waviness, dark waviness, would be to again saturate the hell out of this, dirty it up, scuff it up. Do that in the mastering. I mean, like, you don't even need to necessarily bounce stems from whatever you're using on this. I don't know what app you're using on your phone. Tell us. We always love some good recommendations for mobile DAWs when on the go, when in traffic, when not in traffic, when driving 90 miles an hour. Also, use your phone to produce music. You heard it here. Recommended by me, your doctor. Are you using GarageBand to make this? Koala sampler? Let us know, burnt offering. Yeah, I feel like this is just we getting like Fetterman. Exactly. Well, that's exactly what Fetterman's doing. He's using Koala sampler and driving 100 miles an hour between Pittsburgh and Washington D.C. like a fucking maniac. The app is discontinued now. Oh man, you're the true gatekeeper of music technology here. Discontinued. Won't even name drop. Don't even do it. Don't even name drop. This is a hidden secret. Maybe even look in the box. Are there ways to add saturation to your stems in the box, in the app itself? I would love some, intentional digital clipping going on here. You don't even need to have it sent through tape. We could keep it on the CD-ROM. That would make it almost even more dungeon synth, as if we're playing a 1991 RPG for the first version of Windows. Find ways to saturate this, and we'll be fully there. If not, embrace your waviness and add more funk to those drums. In fact, you could add more funk to the drums to begin with. Tastefully, subtly, a bit more development in the percussion. Otherwise, I'm right there, man. I'm showing the stank face, or rather my grim. Yeah. Oh, okay, that's a good recommendation, Breathplay. Alternatively, you can add bitrate compression. Speaking of elderly RPGs, oh yeah, that would be some going straight into bit crushing. Would be a surefire way to narrow down our connotation of digital, sort of post-digital representation here, and really bring home that RPG elements that obviously dungeon synth is very much associated with. Run it through the Zoom and mic up your laptop speakers to your phone for that crunch. Yes, that's the good old reamp. That's the at-home lo-fi reamp for you right there. Any number of options we could do here. Breathplay writing, a lot of these older PC games repurpose library music, which gives dungeon synth and vaporwave shared DNA. Absolutely. I considered it all of this in the view of a sort of hauntological 1990s, let's say, both interactive software, advertising, and various aesthetics, and degrees of processing those aesthetics in a contemporary lens. Definitely tie vaporwave and dungeon synth in principle. And that DNA, that shared DNA. Let's hear it dirtied up. Let's hear it dirtied up. Fuck it up. We gotta stop being scared of some intentional soft clipping. We gotta get comfortable with the danger. All right. Tollbooths is back with a new one. Angels from Tollbooths. What do they write on the Discord for this one? This is a result of chopping up a shellac song. This is a picture off Terraform and then processing with granular synthesis and filters. That's right. You don't need multiple samples. You need one good sample and a taste for granular sampling. And you can create all sorts of stuff. So this is Tollbooths, Angels. Let's get it. What I tell you? What I tell you, huh? You don't need more than one sample, one choice. That's all that sampling is, man. It's curating. This was very well curated. Fantastic stuff, Tollbooths. Seriously. This was a treat for the sound design heads out there. You're really covering a variety of timbral. This is orchestration, like that's what I fucking love. Like granular synthesis is such a lovely way to reorchestrate audio as an instrument. You all the way down to its granular minutia, but suddenly the sound of a crash cymbal becomes this wash, this wave of brightness that can be extended infinitely, but also all the way down to bass lines, like we created actual progression here in a very formal musical sense, so it's not just about the strictly abstracting and textural, like there was really this wide variety of roles that your choice of sounds made here. Everything from almost like a full rhythm section to like the strictly textural and the abstracted beyond recognition. It's a lovely thing, and this is again a testament to your choice of sound, like curating this. Like you wrote here, you went with the shellac because of the insane sound of his guitar tone. Yes, like even just distortion. Like we can turn the brightness of a distorted guitar into percussion if we wanted to. There were moments of like impact noises here that you would hear on like cinematic sound design sample packs for like trailer producers that want like some good thuds and things like that. So you're really covering a lot of bases here, and your choice of how to distort things, how to crunch it up was incredibly tasteful. It's showing your skill and at least your instincts as a sound designer, which is half the battle. Then how do you compose with those sounds? You're basically developing instruments here. That's what I really love about granular synthesis, is that it's just you're playing the synthesizer, obviously, but it's all depending on what you send through it. Is what's going to determine your waveforms, and the waveforms is where the timbre really lies. It's a beautiful thing that has the ability. It's the most digital process we could think of from compared to analog synthesis, but it has the means of sounding pure and human and analog, even acoustic, because you're sourcing oftentimes acoustic sounds going through it. Loving these references here. Shout outs to fuck buttons. Definitely the tasteful distortion here, allowing to peak in redlining here, but it tastefully so. Jeffrey Cantu Ledesma, fellow Whited Sepulchre Records label mate, my label mate. Shout out to Jeffrey. I hope we could play together at some point. Really, really lovely stuff. Okay, there you go. Definitely already in your ear then, Tollbooths. Fantastic. Well, shout outs to Whited Sepulchre, holding it down. Fucking A. I gotta check out Jeffrey's new record on that, actually. I believe he put one out earlier this year. This is lovely, and I recommend y'all maybe we'll make that the next monthly project, to focus only on a single sound source and utilize granular synthesis to produce something. That might be fun. Maybe we'll do that for the September to October monthly project, which, by the way, monthly project next Monday, we will be presenting the monthly project series. You know it. You love it. I want everybody involved in this. Your instructions for this monthly project are simple. Create a recorded piece of music that is under 5 minutes in duration and in a style, genre, or instrumentation that you have never worked with before. So as long as it's new territory, under the above guidelines, the rest is entirely up to you. Submit that shit. We got a whole channel for that on the Discord. Get in on this. Seriously, please, please, please. We need participants on that. I love the compilations that we make when we all are working towards cohesive, singular themes for extended spurts of time. This is music school shit right here, y'all. This is composition seminar right here. I'm sending you through it. Hop on. $5 grad school. Not even $5. This shit is free, but feel free to join the Patreon for this twice a week. You already know. You already know. Next caller. Thank you, Tollbooths. Always a pleasure. Enjoying this quite a bit. Who we got? Who we got next? Who's up next here? All right. We got Corey here. No description. But the track is From Where Did It Come? There Is Nothing But Sickness, which big fan of that title. Anytime we got a long title, you know we're in for something. We're in for something heartbreaking. We'll see. Let's check it out. Yeah. Whew. Did not disappoint. Did not disappoint. You wrote in the chat, warning, longtime electric bassist who has played shows and gigs for quite a while and dabbling in ambient music, but knows little to nothing about production and tech. Well, could have fooled us, dog. This is sounding pretty strong. And I agree with Breathplay here. I feel like this is the day I'm telling everybody that we need to dirty things up. This sounds a way to make this sound out of the box, because right now it does sound pretty in the box, and in a way that it sounds like generative or programmed MIDI instruments, which isn't a bad thing. But I think that if we wanted to lay into the heaviness of this, then you should play bass on this. This is reminding me quite a bit of the bass, electric bass and electronics instrumental doom gaze, if you want to call it. They wrote bass gaze. Breathplay wrote bass gaze in the track, but there's this classic doom gaze electronic and bass project called Nadia, Nadja. And I highly recommend you checking them out if you haven't heard of Nadia, because it's exactly this intersection of electric bass with a whole lot of pedals and fucking distortion on it, and electronic drums and synths. And it's just this beautiful, obviously very low end heavy, but deeply saturated project that is it's certainly holds a near and dear place in my heart from the 2000s specifically, but they're still around, and I hope they didn't clean up their sound. I hope that they have remained as dirty as ever, because that's what I want you to check out. Check out Corrosion, I believe is the EP by Nadia, is the one I'm thinking of specifically. That is just, you'll know it exactly when you hear it, what I'm talking about. This intersection of you can synthesize with your bass, not just with hardware pedals, but through choice of effects in the DAW itself. You can blend it. I just played a show last night with one of my supporting acts, a former student of mine, Sadie Powers, who just has like electric bass, P bass, and like beautiful choice, curated choice of granular and saturating effects, stomp boxes, and it just sounds like synthesizers. It's a really beautiful cohesion of a, let's say, traditional rock and roll instrument and a choice few electronics that really bring us out of what you'd expect of this instrument, just looking at it and looking at someone play it through an amp. And I'm not even saying you need to fully synthesize it, because you have so many, rich synths here. I think that we should just lay into this as a heavy project, because you're teasing at it right now. And again, just I demand dirt today. I'm in a dirt place right now. I need all sounds to be filthed up, and you wouldn't need to be diving deep into production in order to do that if you wanted to include your traditional instrument of that you are experienced in, the electric bass. I think that's a cool idea. I think that's a nice little intersection there. Definitely check out Nadia, though, because this is bringing me there almost instantaneously. What else do you write here? The snare did not disappoint. Yeah, I mean, everything should be dirtied up, including the drums here too. Just make it fucking snap. Breathplay wrote, if you could do something this expressive with the synth pads, I would love to hear you build a similar wall of sound with the bass on a shoegaze pedal setup. Yeah. Exactly. That's where my ear was with this. Just filth. I think that we can go filthier. That's just me. Also Breathplay, apparently. But I think that we're on to, if you're experimenting here, if this is a new world for you and you're experimenting with music tech for the first time, I think that it'd be a really wonderful way to both include some of your foundational chops in the new territory of music tech, and use the bass is just another oscillator. These instruments are just sources to be produced and sculpted and experimented with technology. And it would be a great way to combine some uncharted territory for you, but grounding it in something that you have a deep foundation in, such as the bass. Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah, Corey. Thank you for sharing. I want to hear more of that, please. I'm going to share this tape tray. How about that lossless quality, y'all? Sounds a lot better than that choppy free Discord audio. That's for damn sure. We streaming in lossless, y'all. Tapetrade.io. Highly recommend, y'all. Get it. I will have an affiliate link soon. I promise you something for the day ones here. All right. Playing us out today, we got something unusual, a little special. We got a 10-minute DJ mix from Breathplay, who has been combining both their techno production practice with some live spinning, jockeying on some discs. This is the cow mix. Playing us out, Breathplay. I hope this doesn't get... I think YouTube won't mind. It's not like this channel is monetized or anything. Which, by the way, patreon.com/Parrotsky. Support. Love you.
Hush. See what you made me do? Face, mascara, erase. I wanna look good for you.
Simple things for your success. Being overworking, and you haven't the time or the taste to become aware of your own importance.
Telling me no. I tell you what's going on, and you're telling me that it ain't going on, but it's going on. Anthony wants to see ugly girls because I don't know why. But that's the fucking news, and don't tell me otherwise. Hair. Don't care. I always comb my hair.
Make up. Make up.
Green. Blue. Purple. I wanna make it good for you. Make then there's talk about make a woman to talk to a man because she wants the man to see them. Goes the other way when a man stops being touched and talk. But they're talking. Gotta be If I wear a dress, you will never call. So I'll wear much less. I guess I'll wear my camisole.
Make up. Make up. Make up. Make ready.
Anthony don't want to see me no more because he wants to see ugliness. And I told him I could be ugly for him, but he said no. That's not how it works. I feel so stupid. I feel fat. I feel ugly. For a cigarette.
nightmare glow that everyone knows. Everyone's gonna be so fucking happy for you.
Yeah. There we fucking go. There we fucking go. And I'm not just saying this because you take private lessons with me and we just talked about this. This is playing the instrument. This is showing your musicianship at the decks. Because what the fuck is DJing if not performed tape music? You know? What the fuck is the loop mode? What's the point of it if not turning it into this near oscillator glitching out, becoming a drum by going to like 1/32nd note or 1/64th note loops? You laid into that with the fucking time delay on that, and you have a new instrument and just riding levels patiently. Just like Kareem said, you know, the patience here, you managed to, it's just over 10 minutes, but it really did have this full immersion that didn't feel rushed, you know. But I think also, and I guess this is why your comment of you'd be fascinated to know which of any tracks on this would get copywritten claimed, because it's true. Like you really extended not a lot of materials. I'd be curious how many tracks were in this mix. Let's say excluding the dialogue and Foley drops. How many tracks of music were included in this? Because it really felt like you were extending like 3, 4, 5 total. Okay, cool. I mean, great blending, you know. What's lovely about this is again, like, we got to see this now, because this is that delay performance right here. This is what you're doing here. You're using the delay, you're using the time delay and the volume fader as an instrument. You are controlling the tape player now. You are the tape player. This is tape music, you know. This is in line almost with abstract turntablism techniques of like Maria Chavez, you know, but in a digital context. Like, how do we turn things that are danceable into objects, into fragments of audio that we could then resculpt in a performed way to turn into another danceable element, you know? It's really fucking lovely. You wrote, the dialogue of the first part was a beat tape made out of a Juilliard audition submissions. Brutal. This is what you got to be doing. This is what you got to be doing. You gotta be practicing the technique doing this, you know, because this is what sets apart, in my opinion, someone that's just playing songs and someone's that utilizing the DJ deck setup as an instrument. It is an instrument, you know. You're playing it like an instrument here, and you are a musician. That goes for anybody dabbling in DJing. Is that this is such a powerful machine. The CDJ double deck in DJM Pioneer, if you can afford it, go to an open deck. I said this to you, Breathplay, but I'm saying it to everybody. Find open decks in your city. It's becoming a thing. I think it's a beautiful thing that just like in comedy, in stand-up comedy, people just need a shot to workshop ideas before they can go for a much larger gig. And obviously, CDJs are fucking expensive to practice on. Open decks are a fantastic way to trial and error some ideas out in low stakes environments without having to invest in $10,000 worth of Pioneer monopolized gear, if possible. Look into that, y'all. Open decks events are sick, except when that one guy that's always there. Yes, but that's why there need to be rules at the open deck, and hopefully it's a safe and inviting place. But it's true. Pay him no mind. You wrote, beware, you will have a real strong dopamine hit at first from instant gratification, and then a massive drop off when you realize you have no idea what you're doing. It's true, but you got to start somewhere on this shit, especially if you make the transition to CDJs in particular, from record box and MIDI controller to the hardware, though it's not that big a difference. It just takes a little getting used to. But yo, play the fucking instrument. Play the fucking instrument. That's what this is, an instrument. We need more of this. Next is the Mixcloud. Next is the full half hour to 45. That's what it is. That's what it is, yo. Okay. We did it. We made it. Shout outs to tapetrade.io for throwing some support to our little experiment we got going on here today. Feel free to sign up for the Patreon. We got ourselves Sundays at 3 p.m. up at the Zoom School edition. Feel free to shoot me an email if you're trying to go private. Many of you here are doing just that. And I would say, we're getting somewhere. We getting somewhere. Aren't we? Aren't we all? Hit me up. Hope you all have a great week. Fantastic evening. Really lovely work from everybody. Looking forward to hearing more. Let's get it. I'll see ya next week. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to another edition of Group Critique Fight Club with me, Max Alper, aka Parrotsky. You can sign up for the Patreon at patreon.com/Parrotsky to get access to our Sunday Zoom school on top of the regular live public stream. Public stream takes place every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. All are welcome. And you are listening to the track Atop Alp Dog Mountain, Ja Plays Pokemon Go by me.